Welcome to the Happy Workaholic Podcast. I'm your host, Kellyanne Gorman. Over the past 20 years, I've worked in beauty, luxury, corporate, and service-driven industries. I created the opportunity in these careers and in my own businesses that allowed me to travel the world, experience once-in-a-lifetime events, and build brands while providing my expertise to clients all around the globe. Life is short, and when you're given a second chance, you better believe I'm going to take it, celebrate it, and share it with you. This show is intended to elevate your mind, upgrade your business, enhance your life, and become part of a positive and uplifting community. If you're ready to take your business and life to that next level you deserve to be at, this is the show for you. Inspiration, motivation, and determination are what got me to where I am today. Tune in every week to hear from myself, other entrepreneurs, professional patients, small business owners, and fellow podcasters who will be featured on the show. I'm here to remind you to work hard, share your story, follow your dreams, and never, ever give up. Thanks for taking the time to subscribe to the Happy Workaholic Podcast. Today's episode starts now. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode. This one is super special because you've heard me talk about this woman so many episodes, and she is a huge part of my healing journey. And just a little background story, if you don't remember how I came across her, is that I was producing a client's podcast and she was talking about this Aloe Moves app. So I go on there and I listen to this sound bath, and in comes Susy, who is aka the Copper Vessel, and I go to immediately her YouTube, her Instagram, and she is all about holistic healing and her journey through sound baths, and she has her own story to share about how she got into this, but she is finally here on the show, you guys. I've been waiting. I've been talking about her forever, and she's finally here. Susy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy to be with you today.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Okay, so Susy, tell us about how you actually got into doing sound baths and your Reiki, and how did your healing journey start?
So my healing journey began when I was 7 years old, and I started to experience a condition called alopecia areata, which is essentially unexplained hair loss. So, I was 7 years old, I was this little girl, and for a reason that no one could tell me, my hair started falling out. And my mom would take me to all these different doctors and healers trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And it really just, that was the beginning of my healing journey, like trying to figure out why my hair was falling out. And, the fact that I was so young and my hair was inexplicably falling out led me to experience a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-judgment. I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't belong. I was really scared that people would find out and they would judge me. And so it began this inner suffering that became a part of my journey for the next 20 years or so. In my early teens, as many young people do, I started to experiment with alcohol, with drinking alcohol, and, I would go to parties. And for me, drinking was never something that I did, to have fun because I enjoyed alcohol. It was I would have one drink, and then I wanted all the drinks to sort of quiet my mind and check out of my body. And so, without realizing it, I sort of embarked on this journey of becoming an alcoholic. To many people on the outside, it looked like just a high schooler or a college kid partying, but what was really happening was that I was using alcohol as a tool to escape and to try to quiet that constant self-judgment and mental chatter that was plaguing me.
Did you ever confide in any of your friends growing up, like your close friends when you were younger? Did you ever really mention anything, or it was always just you keeping it inside because you were young, you didn't know?
A few of my close friends knew, and no one who knew ever gave me a hard time about it. They didn't pick on me for my hair falling out. They were like, it's fine, Susy, we can't tell. It was really my own inner critic that was constantly always thinking about it. Why is my hair falling out? What's wrong with me? And I wanted to find out. I went to so many healers, and no one could give me an answer. They would say, try this, try that. I went to Reiki healers. I went to Ayurvedic healers. I went to dermatologists. For 18 years, I got cortisone injections in my scalp. I know. And, it was just the underlying message that I was receiving, that I was giving myself, was like something was wrong that needed to be fixed, you know?
And you just feel it like in your gut too. Like you just always have like that inner, like you just know, like I did the same thing with my brain. I went to 5 neurologists and then I went to 6 more. Like you just know your body. So I'm glad that you kept fighting. It's important.
Yeah. And, you know, so there was the alcoholism component of it where like I just didn't want to face it. I didn't want to feel that way, which took me down a pretty dark path. And then the healing component of it where I was just committed to searching and to finding an answer. And the temporary Band-Aid solution was to get these injections, but something inside me was like, Susie, there's a deeper lesson here. There's a deeper healing. And for all those years of escaping from my body and using drugs and alcohol to check out, there continued to be this inner voice that was like, there's another way, there's another way, there's another way. And so throughout the years, I always had an interest in that holistic healing. Like I practiced yoga, I practiced meditation, but not consistently. It would like pop into my life when I could like really, really find a desperate moment, and then I would feel a little bit better and then go back to things being normal. So my journey led me to my late 20s, where I was in a really, really dark place, living in New York City. On the outside, everything looked totally fine. Like I had a job, I had friends, I was wearing a wig, like, and there were periods where I had like mostly a full head of hair. You know, my hair would fall out and it would grow back. But on the outside, things looked fine. But on the inside, I was just in so much pain and I was suffering and I felt so lost and so disconnected from my purpose, you know, and from like what I was supposed to be doing here on earth other than like being constantly in a state of self-judgment. And so I ended up finding myself after a long day and night of drinking and partying, getting to a place where I no longer wanted to live. I was just like, I cannot go on like this anymore. And at that point, like I'd really been trying to stop drinking. I knew I needed to make a really major change. I'd been doing juice cleanses. I've been doing all the things, but like nothing would stick. And I barely remember that night, but I know that I was in my bathtub and I just was done. I just could not do it another day. And somehow I miraculously woke up the next morning and it was like something had shifted. And I heard this thought in my mind that was like, Susie, wake up and live. Susie, wake up and live. And so I basically was like, okay, I surrender. And I asked for help and I started to receive it. And I went to a 30-day rehab program to get clean off of prescription medications and alcohol and weed. And while I was there, I also got to really dive in deep to some of these alternative and holistic healing modalities that have played such a role in the healing that actually has stuck and worked. You know, I experienced Reiki healings. I practiced yoga and meditation daily. I started to change my diet. I began a daily gratitude practice. And once I got out of rehab, those things stuck with me. And I continued to incorporate them in my life. And slowly but surely, things started to shift. It didn't happen overnight at all. Literally, I remember like when I got out of rehab, I felt so broken. Oh my gosh, I was working in New York City, living with my parents in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I would commute for an hour every day. It was like, Susie, okay, get out of bed. Okay, Susie, get in the shower. Okay, get on the train. It was like literally one step in front of the other, and I had sunglasses on and headphones in. I could barely even interact with people. I felt so raw and so sensitive, and it was really just like this newborn baby, you know?
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, by doing this work and continuing to meditate and practice gratitude and receive Reiki, things started to shift and open up. And as things opened up, I could start to connect the dots of how the universe was guiding me, like how there was a bigger picture, and how through gratitude, you know, I was able to see that none of the things in my life had been happening to me. Like my hair falling out, like struggling so much with drinking, feeling not a part of, all that self-judgment, everything. It had been happening for me to guide me to this moment where I could actually get to know myself in a whole new way. And so I ended up moving to California. And in the process of moving, you know, I was still experiencing a lot of anxiety. And my aunt brought me to a sound bath. And in that first sound bath, it was like everything clicked. Everything really shifted and sunk in. And I felt this sense of calm and quiet and peace, like a feeling of being at home that I'd been searching for through all those years of trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and just that constant negative self-talk and feeling like I didn't belong. Like in that moment, in that sound bath, I experienced peace. And so I kept going. I kept going to sound baths, and before long I was like, I need to learn this because I need to share this with other people. For the first time, I was really, seeing a new light in my eyes and like loving that light, like really starting to feel safe and like I was good enough and lovable, And so I found a teacher and I started studying sound healing. I learned to play the gong actually first. And then I got eventually Reiki attunements and became a Reiki practitioner and then a Reiki master. And when the time was right, I just took this leap of faith and without even actually planning it, left my corporate job and embarked on this path of stepping into my true path as a healer.
That is one incredible story. I'm seriously so honored to have you on the show. I have so many questions. So one of my questions that you already answered was if it was Reiki first or then the sound bath. So you already answered that. But when you were in the tub in New York and you were like I have to lit, like I have, like, I'm better than this, like I need to keep going. But was there also another voice that was like, you need to keep going because you have a purpose to help other people? Like, did you feel that yet? Or did that come later once you started learning more?
I mean, I've always had this knowing within me that like, I'm here to help people.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know that I had anything deeper to give. The work professionally that I've been doing was helping people. I was doing luxury lifestyle management. Which then, as I started to really step into this path, was like, I can help people in a deeper way. But in that moment, it wasn't so clear. It was just like, Susy, just wake up. There's something more for you. There's something more here. Like the world needs you here. Basically, that's what it was.
I felt the same way. Like, I've had so many career paths and had so many different businesses, and I always know, like, I was put here for a reason to help people. And throughout my journey, it's been all kinds of help. But now I'm like, now I know I have like a bigger power. But I feel like I personally didn't know that until I started meditating, journaling more. Actually, like I say, people can say they're grateful, but it's not until you actually have a gratitude practice that like really hits home, that like, honestly, in my opinion, changed my life. And when I started doing more of your sound baths, because you just need a connection when you do something holistically. I feel like when you need to be on a healing journey, and I've been trying to heal for years since I stopped doing chemo and all these things and detoxing off meds, but something really hit me, especially when COVID happened, healing. Because in my own experience, I was dealing with the legal aspect, so I'm reliving this trauma over and over and over again. And then at the same time, I'm trying to end the legal. You can't feel at peace. You can't be grateful. And I'm telling myself, like, on one side of my mind, like, you should be grateful you're alive. But then on the other side, I'm still angry because I'm still dealing with the legal. I just want to move on with my life. But then when I started doing the sound baths, they calmed everything down. My mind, my body, and I was at peace. And I could finally, have a conversation with my friend to actually know about the legal aspect, calm, and not like raising my voice and all fired up, like, they deserve to die, like so angry. Like, I'm not that person anymore. And I swear it's because I'm more peaceful. Like, I'm still loud. I think that's like the East Coast girl in me, but like, I'm at peace with what happened. That happened for a reason. I'm 10 times stronger than I ever thought I could be. And now I can help people on a whole nother level because of sound baths and because of, I guess, doing them over and over again. So my question is, like, do you find them more powerful, just like with meditation? And, if you're doing Reiki, do you find them more powerful if you are repetitive? Because I do them morning and night. Every day almost.
So first of all, I really want to just acknowledge you for your healing journey and all of the growth and the healing that you've done, and that deep work that you've done to create that shift, you know? And our minds, what they do, they create stories. They create stories around the things that are taking place around us. You know, nothing in life is innately bad or innately good. Mm-hmm. It's just the meaning that we attach to things. And so whether it's, you know, I went through this traumatic experience, or now there's a legal battle, or my hair's fallen out, or whatever it may be, there's things that come up in life that our mind will attach meaning to, right? And it's a natural part of the human experience, and it's something that we all have the capacity to break free of. And sound baths, I have found, and it sounds like you have found, provide a safe space for you to create that shift, where you can let go of the meaning that's attached to the story, that's attached to the experience that was just an experience. It was just an experience. It's something that happened, you know? It's our choice whether or not we're letting it affect us, whether or not we're letting it bring this weight onto our life. And when we can remove the story and remove that meaning and attachment, we start to experience freedom. And so, yes, going to sound baths on a regular basis can absolutely support that, because, I mean, how many years experience do you have, all of us have, at creating meaning around stories, around experiences that are taking place, you know? So that's
so true, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys, I cannot believe I can finally announce this. It has literally been years in the making, and just a couple months ago, it was one book, and now it's another. And for years, I was writing about my life, and then I got sick, and the malpractice, and all this stuff. And all that information is available here. But what I wanted to write my book about was something that would bring light to people that were in a darkness that, like I was, for many, many years. And what makes me happy, what lights me up, is cooking really healthy meals. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I have so many recipes already there, but what I wanted to do was make them gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, meat-free, and just start with the basics. And obviously I eat all those things, you can add them in, but I wanted to create a really fun cookbook filled with delicious, healthy recipes, but at the same time offer guidance in the personal development area, provide some life lessons based on my own life, and then, you know, just have a bunch of food and fun and a lot of facts served to you on a silver platter. So if you are ready to get organized, to be creative, and put in the work to take your business and life to that next level you deserve to be at, as well as create some delicious, healthy recipes, whether it's for you because you want to meal prep, or for your family, or for your friends for a girls' night in, Everything is Messy is exactly what you're going to need. So it is available to pre-order right now. So go to everythingismessy.com. You can read so much more in the book and everything that you'll get out of the pre-order. I am releasing never seen before recipes that aren't even going to be in the book, so they're exclusive to you. I have an exclusive community where I'm going to be doing like a live cooking show. I have chapters and edits and final edits and all of that good stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you in our private community. So just check out everythingismessy.com. You can read a lot more about why I decided to shift this way, and I'm just so pumped up about it. I'm so excited. And if you look on my Instagram, now that Reels is out, I've been posting so many more recipes, and I'm getting incredible feedback from my friends that are my taste testers, as well as everybody that's trying them on their own. So again, visit everythingismessy.com. You can pre-order the book today, and I'm so excited I can finally share this with you.
And I believe, and what I've been trained in yoga, is that it takes 40 days to break a habit. It takes 90 days to make a new one. So to have a consistent practice is going to support you in breaking free of that way of being, or that way of suffering, or that way of existing in a faster way, you know? So like, it would happen if you go to a sound bath once or twice a year. It will help you, sure. You'll relax, you'll experience some shifts. If you go to a sound bath every day for a month, you're gonna be blown away by the way that you feel. So it's really just how deep you want to dive into your healing, and the consistency will absolutely create profound shifts, as you yourself experienced.
Which is insane, because if you try to meditate, no matter how long, every day, I mean, I've done meditation challenges, I'm all into the woo, like everything. The effect it has just on my mind, like helping reprogram it and like literally just heal and be able to breathe without like the panic again is insane. And I tell everyone that. I'm like, you can meditate like for 3 hours, but if you do 20 minutes, not even, you're going to feel like a different person. And then you just have this like calmness throughout the day. And then it's like you crave that. And then for me personally, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, this is the first time and plus I'm working on like other projects that I've been wanting to do like from years ago that I can finally do. And I feel like that allowed me to get my creative juices flowing again, because with somebody that has a job of constantly creating content all day, all night for themselves or other people, and like looking alive on the internet and all of those things, like you always need to come down and like be restful and take the time to just like chill the fuck out. And like, it's hard to do that, to calm your mind. But with the sound bath, it's like, it does it like almost instantly. It's insane. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because the rest of the world, the 72 countries that are listening to us today, need to follow you and need to learn more about you. And you just have this very like calming, soothing. I mean, I'm sure everybody needs that when they're practicing what you're doing, but you just have this calming, soothing voice and like aura that is like around you, that I know it's a part of that, but you really feel safe. And I feel like that's something that, especially now, like people don't feel safe. People don't feel, I mean, personally, just the last couple of weeks, like I was having panic attacks out of the blue. I haven't had them in years. I'm like, what is going on? So do you feel like now more people are gravitating towards, especially like being laid off and being at home, like they're really searching for that more holistic piece that they're missing, that they never really believed in, or they're ready to go now because of like what's going on in the world? Do you see that huge shift happening?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, people are waking up to these practices in ways that they haven't before, and it really, it's a uncomfortable and in many ways scary and painful experience, but also this time that we're in, this COVID period, is an opportunity for us to really learn a deeper truth about all of us. You know, for so much of, I mean, my life and what I see people experiencing, it's like we look outside ourselves for comfort, for peace, for safety, for security, for feelings of validation. You know, we'll say that I'll relax when I go on vacation. I'll learn when I'm in the classroom. But COVID has been this invitation to become infinitely adaptable and to recognize that the only true security and safety and comfort and peace comes from within. Mm-hmm. You know, we can't control what's going on around us. We never could. But this year is certainly an in-our-face reminder that nothing is in our control. The only thing that we have control over is how we choose to experience our life and what we do with ourselves, the action that we take. And so incorporating practices such as sound baths and meditation into our lives is going to support us in finding that solace and that home within that stays strong and steady even when the world around us feels like it's crumbling.
So true. And I know you do a lot of corporate work, and that is, don't you feel like it's mind-blowing? Like now these corporations finally see, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, like they would never think like holistic what? No, like that's anti-corporate world. And now it's like the roles have switched, you know, like they need everybody to take part in healing and a holistic journey and just be their best versions of themselves so that they can do a great job at whatever their position is, especially now if they're at home. And I think that's so effective, and the fact that you get to do that is amazing.
It's really incredible, and I'm so grateful that this is what I get to do. And I love bringing wellness into the corporate space. You know, it's like people, it's exactly what you're saying. Like when we're feeling anxious or busy or overwhelmed, it's like a major block to creativity. And so for so long, our society has taught us like you need to multitask, you need to be doing, producing. Whereas in reality, if you're starting your day feeling calm and grounded and clear, you're going to do in 1 hour what would otherwise take you 7. It's just the case. And so when I get to share, especially these virtual sound baths, I mean, I've been working with some of the largest, most respected companies in the world. And it's so cool to see that they're turning to this now and creating this opportunity for their staff, their team members to, first of all, connect with each other. They may be in their homes, but to see each other's faces, to connect and say, how are you feeling today? Like, what's coming up for you? And then no matter how anxious they are, no matter how busy their mind is, to use this modality, which has the capacity to really quiet the mind very effortlessly and very quickly, for them to relax and experience some healing. And then afterwards be like, I'm here as a human. Yeah. We're here as humans together, and everything's going to be okay. You know, I love being able to create that for companies.
And I feel like too, like,
okay, guys, just interrupting this episode super, super quick. I wanted to remind you that my YouTube channel is live. I'm so excited. This has literally been years in the making. I have a ton of content already sitting there, but I also have a lot more getting ready to be pushed out. So head to youtube.com/Kellyanne Gorman. You can see everything there. Don't forget to like and comment on some previous videos. Show me some love. Let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to film for you. And don't forget to subscribe so that you get notified as soon as my next video goes live. The link will be in the show notes. Again, it's youtube.com/Kellyanne Gorman. I cannot wait to see you over there. And finally, literally years in the making, be able to share with you all this content I've been sitting on and brand new content, especially regarding my cookbook, Everything is Messy, which, by the way, head to everythingismessy.com and you can pre-order today. I cannot wait to share more videos with you over on YouTube, so I will see you there. Now let's get back into today's episode.
Because of COVID, something that you just said reminded me that people are asking each other. It's like, we are humans. People forgot. We're all humans. So why are we not asking, are you okay? But like, are you really okay? So years ago, I started working with a client, and her show was all about postpartum depression. And in the middle of the night, she could never find any help. So she contacted me, and we launched her show all about postpartum depression. And this has always stuck in my head since, I think this was like 3 years ago when I started her show. How are you? How are you? Like, you always have to ask twice, because if somebody's suffering or somebody's going through something, the first thing anybody's ever going to say is, good, I'm fine. No one's ever going to say right away. But like, we are humans. We all have pain. We all have feelings. And like, people are actually realizing that now more than ever before. I feel like, because of what's gone on in the world, it's like, okay, we've all come back to like the beginning of time, like, actually have manners. Like, how are you? Like, no, how are you really feeling? Like, you can cry today, it's okay. Or you can be angry, like, because we're all in the same bubble right now, just trying to figure it out, you know? So I love that you said that, because we are humans and we need to be kind to each other. And I feel like a lot of people are realizing that now, you know, with everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's true. It's so true. And we need to feel in order to heal. We just have to. And it doesn't necessarily even mean like healing from a big trauma or a big illness, but like healing ourselves on a daily basis, you know? Just by being a human on this earth right now, you're experiencing traumas on a daily basis. You turn on the news and you're being traumatized. So how to process and move that energy and heal yourself, you know, and allow yourself to feel it, rather than becoming so busy or reaching out for alcohol, drugs, food, sex, shopping to help you numb out and escape. Like, that's not going to serve any of us. We really need to see each other as humans, love each other as humans, and create these safe spaces to come together and feel in order to heal.
Yeah, I love that. That's like the best thing that is ever said. Like, you really need to feel, because I was doped up on all these meds and I wasn't allowed to feel a thing, and I didn't even feel anything till like I was off of them for months. And that's just insane how strong these meds are, and taking a different approach in wellness, I think, is so important. What are what are like 3 things that you want to share, maybe about like sound baths or Reiki, that somebody's interested in and that maybe they wouldn't know without doing them? Like, they're obviously powerful and healing, but maybe why somebody would be holding back to go to a sound bath or start Reiki. Like, maybe some things that would solidify them to like move forward with their journey.
Yeah, so what I would say is, first of all, for a sound bath, there's no water involved.
Yeah.
It's in my sound baths, I play crystal alchemy bowls that are creating sounds, and sound is a vibration and everything's vibrating. Okay, so it's a normal thing. This isn't something that's like super woo-woo or super out there. It's a fact. And the bowls that I play are made of crystals. And again, crystals are not just a woo-woo thing either. Crystals conduct energy and hold information. You'll find a crystal in your cell phone. You'll find a crystal in your computer there to conduct energy. So the energy that we're conducting in the sound bath is healing energy. Jonathan Goldman's one of the most renowned sound healers. He says that intention plus frequency equals healing. So that's really what's happening in the sound bath. So it's not anything to be intimidated by. You lie down, you have an open mind, you'll most likely be guided to set an intention, and then you relax. And it's just like listening to soothing music that is specially tuned in a way that what it actually does is entrain with your brain waves and help to shift you into brainwave states that are associated with states of deep rest and calm and healing. So if you are that person with a busy mind, you think you are too anxious to meditate, you're too busy, a sound bath is great because you sort of fast forward into that deep state of meditation without it having to take a long time, and those sounds, by entraining with your brain waves, effortlessly bring you there. As for Reiki, I mean, what I would say is that it's not the practitioner doing anything to you. It's channeling universal life force energy that sort of feels like a soft, warm glow. I like to think of Reiki as recharging a battery. So for me, I love going to Reiki when I feel depleted, if I feel like I need to connect with my inner wisdom, if I'm not feeling very clear. If something's coming up in my body physically or emotionally or spiritually that I'd like to get clarity around, Reiki is a really wonderful tool for that. It's incredibly gentle. You relax. You basically feel like you're taking a nap. And when you come out of the session, you feel lighter, you feel clearer, and oftentimes the practitioner will share intuitive messages with you. So I actually had a crazy experience when I was in rehab and I had a Reiki healing, my first one there. The practitioner told me, she was like, I see you teaching yoga. She was like, I see you giving spiritual healing to people in big houses and there's a lot of light. It's very bright there. And this was during a time when I was wearing only black, working in New York City at the Plaza private residences.
Oh my God.
I mean, I like laughed at people who lived in California. I was like, why would you live in California? And 5 years later, fast forward, here I am. I work with incredible people. I go to their homes and teach yoga and offer these spiritual healings. And it's pretty sunny here in California. It's a pretty bright light. So
you're always in white.
Yeah, those are right. And so
total opposite.
It's really beautiful what can come through in a Reiki session. And so what I would share about that is to just have an open mind. Give it a try. At the very least, you'll feel like you took a nap.
My first Reiki session, my friend did, and she said her hands started shaking over my stomach. And after, I told her that I just started the adoption process, and that was insane. And then I was exhausted for like 2 days. She's like, you're going to be tired. The energy I felt, because I was like so intense, I had, those deep yawns, like your mouth is open for, it seems like 2 minutes, like you're waiting for a bug to fly into your mouth. And whenever you say yawn, you always yawn, so I'm probably going to yawn in a minute. But I had these yawns. I'm like, is it done? Like, it was the longest, deepest yawns. And I have been getting them again lately, doing more sound baths. And it's like, that's your body's way of like releasing. And I didn't know that until like, when that happened. But it was intense. And I remember I was texting him like, I haven't stopped yawning since our session. It was like never ending. I'm like, how much more do I need to release? I'm like, it's never ending. But that's how I knew it worked. So kind of a final question I have for you. So you are somebody that's picking up on somebody's energy and you are constantly giving. So how do you unplug? If I'm unplugging with, and I'm trying to heal with the sound baths and everything, but you're the one doing them, how do you step away and take your, like, what are some of the things that you do in the morning or at night, like two of like your favorite rituals so that you can calm your mind after helping all these other people? How do you do that?
Yes. Well, my personal self-care is, that's comes first. I I can't give to other people if I'm not coming from a full cup, you know? So my practice is when I wake up, I take a cold shower, which helps to boost immunity. Yeah, it energizes you. Every morning I get on the mat, or I sit on a sheepskin, and my practice begins. I do something called tuning in. I chant a mantra, activating my human instrument, starting to move that energy. I then will do some spinal flex exercises, starting to move up my body. I will do some light yoga, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but always I would say around 15 minutes of gentle movement. I do breath work. So there's a breathing meditation that I actually have on my Instagram, on my IGTV. On there, I think it says it's a 3-minute meditation for energy. It's very detoxifying and very energizing. It's called Ego Eradicator. And I do that every day for 3 minutes. I'll oftentimes do more breath work. And then I meditate. That could look like a chanting meditation. And then I'll always incorporate some silent meditation as well, somewhere between 3 to 30 minutes. That's how I start my day. Like, if I don't start my day with a solid morning practice, which minimum would be 15 minutes. Like, if I have a crazy jam-packed day, overslept my alarm, like, has to happen. But ideally, it's 30 minutes to an hour. And then throughout the day, I'm constantly checking in, especially right now with everything that's taking place virtually. You know, going outside, putting my feet on the earth, walking around the block, feeling sun on my face, taking moments to ground and center and disconnect is so important. Sometimes throughout the day, I'll pause and I'll listen to a sound bath, or I'll do a guided meditation. I'll take time to receive. I have healers and teachers myself. So I feel that it's really important that healers have healers, teachers have teachers. Like, this is a journey, a lifelong journey. Like, I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfectly healed. If I don't continue to do the work and move the energy through myself, like, I'm not going to be able to be of service to anyone. So, you know, seeing my healers throughout the week, connecting with my teachers. And then at night, before bed, I usually take a bath with magnesium salts, which is so relaxing. It's so
I know.
nice.
I saw you post that. What is the difference between, because I screenshot it and I'm like, I need this next. What is the difference between that and like Himalayan salts? Like, are they more powerful or?
Just different. So Himalayan salt is very cleansing and clearing and detoxifying. It's great. Epsom salt, Himalayan salts, Dead Sea salts, those are wonderful. I like magnesium because our body needs magnesium. It's something it's a mineral that we actually need, and it's best absorbed through the skin. It's very calming. It's really good for immunity, and it's really good for improving mood. So when I take a bath with the magnesium salts, I'm like, oh, it's like the best bath ever. So
I definitely need them. They'll be here in 2 days.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amazon.
I know you'll get them. Queen of self-care. And then before I go to bed at night, I usually do some reading. I'll read at least one chapter of the book I'm reading. Right now I'm reading like 3 books. So I'll read one chapter of each in a bit of an ambitious moment. And then I always do gratitudes and sort of take an inventory before I go to bed. So I recommend that everybody, I know you have one already, but I recommend that everyone who's on a path of healing or just being a human, it would serve them to have a gratitude practice. So I always write 5 things that I'm grateful for that day at least, and I share it with a couple of other women. They share theirs with me, I share mine with them. When I mentor people, that's a part of something that I offer them right away. I'm like, please start sending me your gratitudes. I also take basically a full inventory of my day. So I look at the positives, I write all this down, I email it to myself. I write down the positives, I write down any challenges, any resentments, anything that I need to clear, anything that could be improved upon. I write down any service that I did. So, you know, whether it was working with another alcoholic on their recovery journey or helping someone, or, you know, I acknowledge whether or not I did service. I actually write a list of the people that I'm praying for. So I write that out. I write down my gratitudes. I write down 3 affirmations, and then I write what I'm committed to. So I'm committed to creating something the next day. I'm committed to creating love, or I'm committed to writing my book, or whatever it may be. I set that intention at night before I go to bed. So
I love that.
It takes about 10 minutes.
That's it? Oh man, I never email myself because that gives me anxiety. Like, it reminds me of my personal assistant days. But I live in the notes section of my phone, and the best shit that comes out of my mind, like when I'm creating, it lives in the notes section, and then I'll send that to myself, like maybe in an email. But it's just so important. Like, you really do need to take the time. Like, you guys listening, if you haven't done any of what we're talking about, at least get a journal and just start. That's like the best advice I could ever give you. I have a clear moving bin filled with journals. One day they'll be on the wall like a banner of some kind, like that day, remember that day. I'm like, my memory is so shot, so I had to like literally refer back for like years, because that's how my book writing started, was in a gratitude journal and just like journaling it out, like brain dump after brain dump after brain dump.
I mean, that's where it happens. And
yeah.
Just by taking those simple inventories or journaling, it opens up so much creative potential.
Yeah, I agree. What do you have coming up next? Where can everybody come follow you?
Oh, so follow along with me on Instagram. I'm on there as The Copper Vessel. My website is thecoppervessel.com. There's a page on there with upcoming events. I have live virtual sound baths, at least one per week. If you're in LA, I'm doing a few in-person events on the beach from time to time, and the schedule's on there. The other really exciting thing that I have taking place, well, there's two. I have virtual sound healing trainings. So for people who are interested in learning the art of sound healing, the sacred science of sound, I have a 4-hour intro workshop, which will help you to just get a taste of it. You don't need any instruments. I also have longer trainings which go really in depth and are transformational and life-changing. And then September 30th, I'm really excited to be launching a 90-day program, which will be to help you find clarity, connect with your purpose, and break free of blocks that are holding you back. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're struggling with addiction, if you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted, or like you're doing all the self-care and still taking baby steps, this program is literally walking you through the exact steps and the tools that have helped me the most to find calm and clarity and peace. So it's going to be 90 days starting September 30th, and I'm taking people for the wait list right now and then opening enrollment probably next week.
Yay! That's going to be so powerful. I'm so honored that you had time, you fit me in your schedule, that you came on the show, and this show is going to air before then, so I'm going to have you guys make sure you sign up for all of that. Follow her over on Instagram. Make sure you check out all of her IGTVs, because she has a lot of sound baths there. And just connect with Susy. She's literally helped change my life throughout this pandemic, and I know for sure she's going to change yours. So make sure you check out all of her links in the show notes and follow her along on her journey. Thank you again so much. Like, you are my last interview of the year.
Oh,
closing out with a bang.
This is so much fun. You are amazing. You are such a light. You're radiant, and everything that you're sharing is so important, and I'm so grateful that we have connected, and I look forward to creating more magic together in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Your time is so valuable, and I really appreciate you carving out a little piece of your day to listen to today's episode. If you liked this one, please share it with someone who you feel needs to hear this message. And don't forget to tag me at The Happy Workaholic on Facebook and Instagram so I can feature you on my stories. Listening on Apple Podcasts, I would love it if you would leave me a review on today's show. Your input means so much and also helps me create more of the content you'll love. Want to continue today's conversation? You can join us in the Happy Workaholic Network Facebook group. Simply answer the questions and you're in. For more information on myself and to get the latest in business, LinkedIn, organizing, and podcasting news, sign up to receive my weekly newsletter at thehappyworkaholic.com. I hope that your day continues to be happy, healthy, positive, and productive, and I'll talk to you again soon.